Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This is my third video on the Chattanooga shooting hoax. If you haven't seen the first two videos, please watch those. They're all important. The reason for this third video is because they've now released the names of the 4 deceased Marines, supposedly. I am almost certain that none of these men died. This is all part of a military psychological operation, as are so many of the other hoaxes reported in our mainstream media. And just right away, Truth Seeker, what I want you to notice is that there's a picture of 4 men up here. And what does the headline say? He was our hero. Now, once upon a time, I used to look at the media, know it was fake, wonder how everybody was fooled by it, but I'd often look at their stupid headlines that didn't make any sense. I mean, think about this headline. Why is it a singular? He was our hero. This is about 4 men up here. The headline they come up with was, he was our hero. I mean, that shit doesn't even make sense, you know? But I'll show you how it does make sense. It makes sense in gematria, because that's what it is. In all the mainstream headlines, all the mainstream networks do this, even the sports ones, ESPN, they all get in on the show. If you think what I'm saying is wrong, go back and watch my video posts. See all the documented evidence I put up. Oftentimes when a sports game ends, all the networks will have a headline about the sports game and the words sum to the score of the game. College and pro. It's a joke. Anyway, he was our hero, has this special gematria that connects to the number 33, which is what this entire shooting was about yesterday, as I showed. The word Marine sums to 33. It's the only branch of the military with 33 gematria. The Air Force was established in 33, so it has a 33 connection itself. And also, the complex where the shooting happened, they routinely showed the footage of this pizza shop, Toscano, which has gematria of 33. Even the pizza shop within this hoax shooting has 33 gematria. And that shouldn't come as a surprise when we're talking about pizza, because pizza itself has 33 gematria. They got us eating the 33 in more ways than we know. But anyway, this headline in Pythagorean gematria, he was our hero, breaks down to 66 Pythagorean, 75 S exception. If you write out 33 and sum it with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 66. There's very much a relationship between 33 and 66 in this study. The Bible's a perfect example. The Bible is of 66 books, from Genesis to Revelation. And the opening book, Genesis, has the gematria of 33. And this isn't just religion. It also gets coded into science just as much. The equivalent of Genesis in science is Big Bang. Big Bang has gematria of 33, just like Genesis. Very important number. It gets coded so often because we live in a world ran by Zionist Freemasons. They've even crafted our language, our calendar system. They no doubt control our news, media, education systems, government, and a whole lot more. We live in their sandbox. Big part of the message here. And you're hearing from someone who doesn't want to live in this sandbox. I think we can get out of it. We just have to have the courage to overthrow these people. Be willing to give up the things they've enslaved us by, the things we're so committed to, our bullshit educations. Think about it. We get BS degrees. They literally write BS on there, just laughing at us. Oh boy. All right, moving on. If you write out 33, it sums to 66, matching this headline. Also, 33 in simple English gematria sums to 156. These numbers connect to God, Truth Seeker. If you haven't seen my other video posts, please go back and watch them on the 4th of July, God. All this will make sense. The reason they do this is because these Masons, they're all tributes to God. But remember, they worship the God that is Satan. The parties involved yesterday in this were the Marines, the police, and the FBI. Marine, 33 gematria. Police, 33 gematria. FBI established July 26, 1908. 33 numerology. What do you know? In simple English gematria, he was our hero sums to 156. This number connected to God. Here, let me just show you this, Roach. In case somebody's here that's never been here before, this is important information. Real quick breakdown. The word God has special gematria. In simple English gematria, it sums to 26. The English alphabet is 26 letters. And why this is interesting is because gematria, which is much older than English by thousands of years, in gematria, the God number is 26, meaning this was coded into our language from the beginning. Notice that God in English gematria sums to 156, and in Jewish gematria is 61. 61 an important number as well. Things such as miracles sum to 61, and when most people explain God, they go to telling stories of miracles. Also, where do people give praise to God most often in this nation, English-speaking nation? Church, which has the gematria of 61. What's our nation's birthday? July 4th, which has this gematria of 156. I don't want to get too far off it. I just want to let you know all these numbers are tributes to God by the Masons. That's why they code them so heavily. It's why they're here, and these headlines that are about a hoax. He was our hero. Remember, this took place in Chattanooga, which has the gematria of 105, just like Zionism, just like Masonry. Again, it is Zionist, Masonic Jews who are behind all this coding, who run the show. Maybe even some potential coding here within this headline. The Pythagorean gematria is 229, kind of like the date September 22nd, a date people have their eyes on, the day before the Pope comes, a Tuesday. And so often these hoaxes that are waged against us happen on Tuesday and Thursday. This one we're talking about happened on a Thursday, and Thursday has the gematria of 116, which is 911 upside down. Another number that gets coded a lot. So here we go. The first one, Thomas Sullivan, he was our hero. This is the same thing they used for the main headline. He was our hero. We know what all that coding's about. Notice that he's from Springfield, Massachusetts. Massachusetts, one of 33 states. They are Delaware, the first state, Massachusetts, the 6th state, and Hawaii, the 50th and final state, where President Obama claims to be from and always winks when he says it. Hawaii. People should know that there is a Hawaii in Kenya where Obama will be visiting July 26th, the 6th month, 6th day, and 6th year of his presidency. 6 years, 6 months, 6th day. He'll be in Kenya July 26th. Anyway, this guy died in Springfield, or he didn't die there, but he's from Springfield, Massachusetts. Notice that Springfield has the gematria of 65, and with the S exception 74, and then of course Massachusetts 33 with the S exception 69. 74 and 33 always get coded together. Jesus and cross sum to 74, crucified at 33. Muhammad equals 74, Messiah equals 74. Out of the 50 states, only one has a gematria of 74. It is Oregon, the 33rd state. Only the 33rd state sums to 74. They code this all the time. I explain it in so many of my videos. Here we go again. The first guy up, Thomas Sullivan, dies in 74-33 land, in an event already coded with 33. And then Springfield, Massachusetts, in Pythagorean gematria sums to 98, the number connected to Lupercalia that's being connected to everything. The spelling of Muhammad Yusuf Azadi's, his name, the original spelling that the media rolled with had 98 gematria. 98. Very important number. If you go back and watch my videos, you will see how much I've been talking about this. Massachusetts this city's on the 42nd parallel, 72nd meridian. Some people out there think these coordinates, when you add them together, the numbers they generate are of significance. I've seen people do that work. I think it's interesting. If you sum these two numbers together, it sums to 114, a number often having to do with death and assassination. His name, Thomas Sullivan, from Springfield, Massachusetts, in Pythagorean gematria, sums to 51, like the word Freemason, like the word conspiracy, and 69, circles and cycles. Like how the media runs on circles and cycles of propaganda. The next guy up is named Skip Wells. You couldn't find a nicer guy. And what's really trippy, Truth Seeker, is they say he's from Marietta, Georgia. a city on the 33rd parallel that I've identified on this blog as being a Freemason, Zionist propaganda hotbed. You might recall stories from the past. Here's John Benet Ramsey from Marietta, Georgia herself. John Benet has the 33 life number, being born on August 6th, the date we dropped the Hiroshima bomb, also a date with 33 numerology. August 6, 1945 also has 33 numerology. So much coding in that event. Notice 8-6 though. The words symbol, triangle, pyramid, all sum to 86. Very Masonic symbolism. So much symbolism coded into this. John Benet Ramsey from Marietta, Georgia, PSYOP town. How about this? Do you guys remember the loud music killing hoax? Of course, they don't report it as a hoax in the media, but it was no doubt a hoax by Michael David Dunn, a name with 144 gematria, with initials that break down to 444. And this happened in Georgia, the fourth state with gematria 44. Only Georgia and Wisconsin have gematria 44. So many hoaxes out of here. Here's a professional athlete from Marietta, Georgia, Jonathan Dwyer. He was one of the athletes to participate in the PSYOP of beating their wives. Remember how we were just getting bombarded with those stories faster than shooting hoaxes last summer? Off season, every single pro football player was apparently beating their wife and making news headlines about it. It's just because this is what the media does. They have to bombard the nation with a whole bunch of stories of propaganda to get them to sink in at the time. It's just how they do it. It's all an agenda. All right, so Skip Wells from Marietta, Georgia. Marietta's had the gematria of 33 like Marine. Georgia, 44 like the word military. Remember, 44 is the kill number, Truth Seeker. Kill in simple English gematria sums to 44, even has 11-9 coded into it. First president to ever die in office died on 4/4, April 4th, William Henry Harrison. The last president to die in office was JFK. He died as the 44th term president on 11/22, a date with 33 numerology. It was the first day of Sagittarius, which has a gematria of 144, a number very much connected to 44. We just saw how Michael David Dunn equaled 144. These Masons are so redundant, Truth Seeker. That's the point I'm trying to make. All their incidents are coded with the same numbers all throughout history. Once you can read it, it is undeniable. I thought by now, after doing these video posts for nearly a year, it's been a little more than 11 months now, I thought by now I'd easily have 100,000 subscribers based on other channels, you know? I feel like the information I have put out is the best information in the history of conspiracy research. That might sound really arrogant, but if you go through the work I've done and you apply these skills, I would like you to tell me what more useful tool is out there. I don't think there is one. Maybe this is boring for people who don't have the patience or don't like numbers or hate reading. But it is a very worthy skill and it reveals much. Marietta, Georgia on the 33rd parallel, 84th meridian. Very special numbers, United States of America, 84. Think about George Orwell's book, 1984, which begins on the date April 4th, 44. The main character's name is Winston, which has gematria of 33. 1984 was a foretelling of what was coming to the West. Maybe even more specifically, the United States. This name, Skip Wells, has some interesting gematria. If you sum the entire alphabet in Pythagorean, it sums to 126. It's a number coded all over the Hoover Dam. Did videos on that. Skip Wells, here's his gematria. He has 9 numerology. All those numbers break down to 9. His location's more interesting than his name to me. But 3, 6, 4, 5, they pop. You couldn't find a nicer guy. In Pythagorean gematria, this is interesting, 115. Remember, the shooting ended at 1:15. The active shooter incident ended at 1:15. Killing in Jewish gematria sums to 115, as do Freemasons, the plural. So possibly that's the reason for you couldn't find a nicer guy. It connects to the shooting. It connects to the people who are behind this. David Wyatt, beloved father and husband. In his write-up, they didn't say where he's from for some reason. Apparently, he's from nowhere. He has a Pythagorean gematria of 39, one of the favorite numbers of the Zionist, 39 books in the Old Testament, 39 signers on the Declaration. Done a whole lot of video posts on 39. Definitely a Zionist flag. Beloved father and husband has gematria of 211, 94, 103, 4 numerology, 4 Marines dead. Maybe something greater there, Truth Seeker. Carson Holmquist, the 4th, reported. We miss you, Daddy. They say he's from Grantsburg, Wisconsin. Remember, Wisconsin's and Georgia are the only 2 states with 44 gematria. Military equals 44. 2 of the 4 men happen to be from Wisconsin and Georgia. The numerology of this town, or gematria, 90 and 117. 90 and 16 are the only words when written out that have 33 gematria. They say he currently lives in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is interesting because it has 110 gematria as well as 119, a lot like 911. Very coded number. Coordinates of the town, 34th parallel, 77th meridian. Name gematria is 6987. We Miss You, Daddy has a simple English gematria of 187. That's pretty cold because that's the police code for homicide. And notice how 187, or We Miss You, Daddy, has an English gematria. 187 turns into 1122, like the date JFK was assassinated. Another 33 connection there. We Miss You, Daddy in Pythagorean breaks down to 69, a number getting coded a lot. Remember, connects to God like we talked about in the beginning. And 79. The word murder has a simple English gematria of 79. So, that said, let's watch this mainstream news coverage, and then we'll wrap it up. Here we go.
All morning. Starting with the last name we were holding out on, Marine Sergeant Carson Holmquist, 27 years old, we think, hometown listed by the military as Polk, Wisconsin, an Afghanistan campaign medal to his credit. He was an automotive maintenance technician. Sullivan is Marine Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Sullivan, reportedly shot to death at the Naval Reserve Support Center, 40 years old, reported to be an Iraq War veteran, Purple Heart recipient from the state of Massachusetts, the Springfield area, apparently believed to have been in the military for more than a decade and a half, served 2 tours in Iraq, got the Iraq campaign medal. There are reports that he worked in the past as a Marine recruiter. An irony that he would survive combat in Iraq and killed by gunfire here. The other 2 we're identifying, Lance Corporal Skip Squire Wells, 21 years old, said to be a member of the Marine Forces Reserve from Cobb, Georgia. He is the one who attended Georgia Southern straight out of boot camp, from what we can tell. We have some sound, I think, from a close friend of Wells named Garrett Reed, who's known Wells since elementary school. Listen.
I mean, he loved his country. You know, his mama served in the military. I believe she was a Marine also. So I figured he just wanted to follow in her footsteps. I know he was in ROTC in high school. He loved that. You know, I just think, you know, that's just a calling that he had.
And the final member is Staff Sergeant David Wyatt, said to be 38 years old, reported to be from Tennessee, but the military has listed his hometown as Burke, North Carolina. Husband, father, also received an Iraq campaign medal.
Yeah, supposedly from here, but also there. It's because it's all just bullshit, and, you know, it's just like... that's why the media's stories never add up. Anyway, Truth Seeker, I want to close out with one more thing. For anybody who doesn't think this is a hoax, let me bring you the most conclusive footage you're going to see. I'll be right back. All right, Encore Truth Seeker. This fellow Truth Seeker, caught some really great news footage off of CNN, and I want to show it to you. We can see that this is all part of a drill, part of a stunt, part of a hoax coming up right here. Here we go. Okay, so notice we have guys in khaki pants just hanging out. There's men laying down here on the ground. What I want you to watch is how these men are alive. You know, it's reported that they were killed. Here's the men who were supposedly killed. Watch how they move around and are perfectly alive.
There, but I'm being told by sources that at this stage it doesn't appear he was someone that was on the
What
FBI
the
radar,
hell?
and it doesn't appear at this stage that
See how he's moving, Truth Seeker? You see how this guy just got up and moved over? This is probably just a dummy right here. But this is just how it is. They do drills and they report them as real news, real terrorism incidents. This is even what they did on September 11th. That's why FEMA flew in to New York the day before.
Filming a drill.
I can tell you, Wolf, that there has been a heightened state of alert, especially in
I can tell you, Wolf. Always remember, Wolf Blitzer, Zionist scum, born 322. All right, Truth Seeker, one last piece here. For those of you who don't know that FEMA was in New York the day before, I just want to show this for you. All this terrorism stuff is the same, you know. Of course, 9/11 was a lot bigger than this thing, but it's all the same. Drills, planned out, by the numbers, hoax-alicious.
To be honest with you, we arrived on late Monday night and went into action on Tuesday morning. And not until today did we get a full opportunity to work the entire site other than the spot at Church and Day to which we were deployed.
And Rudy Giuliani, mayor of New York, tells ABC's Peter Jennings that he was aware the towers would be coming down.
What is going on now is a massive rescue effort.
Do you believe it's hundreds or thousands?
I really don't. I really don't want to say right now, Peter. I think it's going to be a horrible number. I saw people jumping out of the World Trade Center. I saw some of the firefighters who I know going into the building. And we were in a building in which we were trapped for about 10, 15 minutes. And we set up headquarters at 75 Barclay Street, which was right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, the head of emergency management. And we were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse. The World Trade Center was going to collapse. It was going to collapse.
And think about all the idiots in this nation who love Rudy Giuliani. It takes me back in time. I just remember arguing with the sheeple back in the day. The quote from Malcolm X about be careful who you trust, essentially, because you might end up loving the people that deceive you and hating the people who are there working for you. I mean, those aren't his words, but that's his quote. It's so true, because that's been my experience in this nation this whole time. Speaking truth and getting hated for it and watching these brain-dead sheeple worship all the ones that, you know, wage the tyranny. It needs to end, Truth Seeker. All right, until next time.